Yo, 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 what is going on, CoD Familia? It is your boy BN, aka Mr. Kingdom Builder, and today we have the latest and newest update, 1.0.14 here from Call of Dragons. Now, the update is coincidentally titled Call of Dragons. I don't know if that was just for a lack of not having a specific name, or if we should treat this as more of the official update ahead of global release that essentially, if we're counting from today, will be coming in 27 days. So I don't know if that was more of a statement piece to just do the title as. We'll see as we continue. Now, the upcoming release date that they're projecting is going to be on the 3rd for this update. So again, as of now, that'll be 2 days or less than 2 days. It's going to be about 2.5 hours. But as I always tell everyone, have low expectations, right? Assume it's going to be longer, but it will be at least 2.5 hours or more. So that way people aren't like, oh my God, it's going to come, the update's going to launch at 4:30, right? Now, yes, it could launch at 4:30, but if you always have low expectations, then you'll never be disappointed. Take that advice. Okay, now let's dive right in. So number one, a smoother route to prosperity. Let me get some agua. That's refreshing. Here we go. 1-1. Improved the new player tutorial experience. That's great. I would still love to know what exactly is being improved in the new player tutorial experience. Even just give us a brief example, right? Here's something we'll mention is why not create a drop down where I can click on this and it'll drop down and it'll give me an expanded either full details or some more details on this. That's one way to do it where you're not compromising the, I don't want to say like the visual integrity of the update, but that's an example. Or you do a subline and you do it in small italicized font, or maybe 1 or 2 points less in font size in italics, and that's another way you could do it. But not knowing what's coming, I mean, again, it doesn't take that much to put a little effort into that, right? 1-2, simplified certain main quests and improved the order and difficulty of main quests. Okay, once again, a little bit more detail here. I mean, sure, maybe you don't need too much here, and maybe as much as you might need for this one, but a little bit more would be great. But okay. Reduce the difficulty of daily challenges in Titan's Legacy to improve player experience, particularly for low-level players. I'm assuming they're referring just to hitting some of the daily challenges. So an example here, right, if we go to dailies, you can see here they are, right? You got to log in, easy. Gather 150,000 total resources, pretty easy. Spend a total of 500 CP, that's pretty easy, right? Because you obviously have more than double that that you could use for a whole day, and you can use more than that in general. Use an ore boost item. That's something that maybe not everyone would have, but you can obviously get a hold of that. Collect a total of 10,000 resources in your city, that's pretty easy. Heal and obtain units, that's pretty simple because you'll do that just from doing PvE, from using your CP. Purchase 5 items in the Goblin Market. For the most part, that's actually pretty easy as well because you can purchase ones that you're using resources for. And then donate tech. So out of all the dailies, you should be able, like every single one of these at the moment is pretty easy with the exception of maybe I would argue the ore boost item. And that should still net you enough points, right? If you're thinking about, well, I don't even know what other ones I've hit so far, but this in no way... wow. So weird. Even if I'm just looking at this right now, that's 24, 32, 40, 48, 56, 60, 56, 64. So it's 64 here. Wow, that's weird. Maybe I've just already done some. And, well, sorry. The daily's going towards the total level. You're just doing that to get... you're just doing at least 6 of these. I'm tripping, right? You're just doing at least 6 of these to get your chest, your daily chest that you can get, right? Then you can pick your, yeah. So, I mean, again, I don't actually see that as being all that difficult. Anyways, let's get back to it. So then we have 1-4, which is adjusted. However, again, I'd love to know, what direction are they going? Why are they trying to make the improvements, right? What's the feedback they're getting for that? Just some type of descriptor would be great. 1-4, adjusted policies. Policies that increase damage dealt by units have been replaced with policies that increase gathering or production. I'm actually not in favor of this. Why? Because why did they have to remove damage? Why not just add on gathering and production? Why not have a gathering branch and a production branch in the policies, right? To me, that doesn't seem as though that's all too difficult. You have policies here Why not make branches like you do in your academy, right? Or in your, well, gosh, whatever it's called. I'll just say academy because it's simple enough for me, right? Bam. You have economy tech, you have military tech. Why not do the same thing in policies, right? Except they're more individually geared to you. There's nothing wrong with that. Why do we have to substitute or replace? So again, that one to me doesn't really make a lot of sense. Also because there's no explanation to tell us why they were doing that in the first place. Were people complaining that it's taking too long to gather? It's taking too long to produce? Is that the direction that they want to go in, right? Remember, when we don't know why something is being done, all you do is leave the world up to speculation, right? Now, if I'm looking at this from a developer standpoint, maybe why they're doing this, if I'm trying to throw an olive branch here, would be, well, because of the fact that maybe they want to help progress accounts faster, because of the way that the season resets operate, and then set players up better for future seasons. Okay, maybe that's a reason, right? And obviously, the damage is universal and across the board for everyone. You're not going to know, every single player is now not going to be able to utilize that, so it is obviously consistent there. So maybe that's the reason. But again, without knowing, without any form of just additional detail, we wouldn't know those things. Then we get to 1-5. Improved the artifact ascension screen, making it easier to understand. Okay, cool, it sounds great. But again, same thing. Give us a brief descriptor. Oh, well, we're making the amount of clicks and steps that you do to ascend an artifact shorter. Okay, cool. That's really all you'd have to say as an example. And that would give us enough to go on. 1-6, adjusted unlock conditions for certain buildings, such as the Augerstone. Now, this is interesting to me, right? Because the Augerstone, for the most part, is really just a historical chronicle of what has happened in the timeline of your kingdom. Now, as far as unlocking it, are they trying to make it so it takes longer to unlock? Are they trying to make it so the Augerstone maybe unlocks at, Castle 2 or Castle 3? I just, it wouldn't, I don't know why it would make sense to change it. To me, it seemed fine. I don't really see the need for it. However, lack of explanation, right? Just give us a little bit of details, and that would be Terry Suave, my guys. And girls. I'm sure there's ladies that work there too. Number 2, an even richer combat experience. 2-1, improved playability and slightly expanded the skill range of the following artifacts: Phoenix Eye, Tear of Arbin, and Breath of Dragentis. Okay, awesome. What do you mean by improved playability? Give us a brief descriptor, once again. Slightly expanded the skill range. Okay, I mean, that is pretty straightforward. I don't necessarily think anyone really needs a super detailed explanation on that, right? It's either expanding the line, the target line, or it's expanding the radius. Then we go to, in the interest of balance, the following changes have been made to hero skills. Hosk, skill, plateau, tactics. So in short, Hosk, Madeline, and Indus are getting, looks like, legion capacity increases. However, what do they mean by in the interests of balance? Give us an explanation there, because they're saying it's in the interest of balance, but you're basically giving all 3 of these heroes a legion capacity increase, and 2 of these heroes are gated. So, at least from when I last checked, let's make sure that's still the case, right? So gold chests, I can't, never mind, all 3 heroes are gated. Wow, so that actually hasn't changed then, right? So you can see Indus, Hosk, and Madeline, right, are not here. So all 3 of those heroes are gated, and they're all getting legion capacity increases. So really, if you think about that, if we're talking about in the interest of balance, first off, we need to understand what type of balance are we looking at. Because objectively, I don't see where that's coming from, right? Again, that's why explanations are needed. And then we get into number 3. 2-3. Reduce the difficulty of certain behemoth raids, excluding elite raids. Okay. Why though? Is it because the average player base is having difficulties? Are you seeing something on the back end? Trust me when I say taking time to explain, even if just briefly, why changes are being made goes over so much better with a community rather than saying, well, this is what we're changing and that's it. Giving people insight to your mindset, to your approach, to your personality, to what justifications you feel like are being made from a developer standpoint is always better than not saying anything, right? Adding some personality and your own unique perspective and approach for why you want, right? Because remember, as a developer, this is a game you made and you have a vision. Share that vision with us. Let's have a little campfire. Let's roast some s'mores. Tell us a couple stories. That's what I want to hear. And work in that drop-down thing I was saying, right? Where I can just click something, drop down, it gives me an explanation and a breakdown on why the change is happening. That would be Terry Suave and Dope Sauce. Now we get to 2-4. Added first victory rewards for Darklings and Dark Creatures. The first time you defeat Darklings and Dark Creatures of a certain level, you will gain additional rewards. This is straightforward enough for me. No additional context needed. That's great. I love it. Improved the combat experience for resource points. Legions gathering from resource points within Alliance territory can now be attacked, and legions can enter resource points while in battle. Oh, interesting. So they changed that, because before, I believe, when you were running away from units, you couldn't do something to that effect. So now it looks like it's reverted, and then now you've legions gathering resource points within can now be attacked. Okay, interesting. Because that was something that clearly wasn't able to happen, but now it can. So and I'm actually, to be fair, I'm actually okay with this, right? Because you still can't get rallied, and you still can't get your city attacked and swarmed when you're on territory. But because you were always able to attack tiles outside of Alliance territory, I mean, do I really feel one way another type about this? I don't. I mean, I think this is consistent with the game's logic and based on the precedent they've set before. So I'm actually okay with this. Okay, now let's get to the next one, which is 2-6. Improved Legion capacity bonuses gained from leveling up heroes and enacting policies. Your Legion capacity will also be increased once your hull reaches a level. So I wonder if they're doing this so that way, like, more dead is incurred and, like, more troops go to the hospital, and or also so fights last longer, because if you have more troops, those legions will take longer to kill, therefore sustaining longer fights. So this, to me, I'm actually in favor of this. I like the idea of, because of the way that the game is trending in this type of true RTS feel, I'm actually more in favor of having higher Legion capacities, so that way we can see, it's almost like you give people more time to hit multiple artifact skills, to have more tactics and strategies that can be applied on the field, rather than, legions dying extremely fast, and you not really being able to see, kind of more of the macro approach unfold. So I'm really in favor of this, and if they decide to do it more, I arguably would even be more in favor of that. We'll have to see how it plays out, but this could actually be the best, and I'm just going to say this early because I haven't read the rest yet, but this so far is the best feature update that I've seen thus far from what we've read, because of what the long-term implications are for the game overall. It's an exciting time. 2-7. Improved artifact skill casting. The camera now moves more smoothly when casting artifact skills. Okay, that's straightforward enough. I love it. Here we go. Number 3. I'm not going to go too far. An improved alliance system. We have, number 1, removed the union feature. All unions between alliances will be automatically dissolved. This was something that some people were DMing me before I started recording this, and I had gone through my messages. I mean, this is interesting to me, right? I mean, obviously there's no union feature in Rock. I think there is a union feature in Infinity Kingdom. So I don't know. What I will say initially is, without an explanation, it's really hard to digest, right? Because this is a big change. Unions, when you just, let me just give you an example, right? If we're just talking, like, we're in SS1-1 right now. Let me zoom out all the way. And let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. So now, in this situation, oh dear God, I need to send some people out. But the idea here is that because now you do not have any unions, you cannot have alliances that will be able to go through passes. So an example here is, I'm in Darlin. Here's Navola. If this alliance here, let's just say this one's STRM, is not allied with either of these two alliances, and let's just say this alliance takes this one takes this one, and this one, then now they won't be able to go through the pass from having a union before. Now they would have to capture the pass, go through it, build a CF, and they'd have to get all of their players over right? And then if someone else retook the pass, right? Like you basically would have to almost do like a full migration of all of your players over to that next region is what you'd have to do. This to me, I don't know. Well, now there's 4 level 1 passes here, excuse me. But the same thing still stands, right? If this alliance grabbed these two and this alliance grabbed those two, the same thing would be the case. So, and if you think about how this impacts SS1-1 is the approach here. What is basically like this is Nivola, right? And let me zoom in just so I can give a better example real quick, right? So this is Nivola. Let's go to the map and I'll go right back. So Nivola was where we were looking at, right? That's where I'm still unfogging. But if you look here, you'll see that I believe there's 2 level 1 passes over here from Nivola to Sophrostia. With the way that SS1-1 for just the kind of battle war landscape is set up in the kingdom right now is that you have Kaltia and Sophrostia basically going up against 4 other regions, right, for all intents and purposes. Not to say that every single alliance in those regions is going to participate for all encompassing, but that's really what it is. Right, you have the SS alliances here in Nivola, and it's essentially a choke point. If you just consider Nivola as the region and the passes, right, you have the primary, like the main chokes, and then you kind of have the wide range choke point of the actual region itself. And the fact that they have to flag all the way out, or excuse me, they have to actually take the pass into Nivola, right? Then they could build the CF over here, and then wait for it to be built, flag out to the pass, attack, and then basically kind of rinse, wash, and repeat. And do the same thing. But also on the other side, I mean, this is the same thing, right? Like if you look at TA and the GRZ UEH alliances, the same thing happens for them as well, right? They're only going to be able to have one alliance arguably fighting on one front at a time, right? Because the only way they'd be able to assist is if the other alliances here in the other regions, Forgotten Lands, Zolan, Burning Lands, is they would have to go all the way. Like you'd have to have NT here would have to attack the pass, run everyone over here, build a fort, build a CF, flag out once or twice to the pass, attack the pass, move everyone again into Nivola, and then run everyone over here, right? And then build a CF somewhere in Nivola and basically you essentially would have to DM every single member, send alliance mails, ping everyone on Discord, and make sure that you're getting everyone over to the next region appropriately so no one's lost. Right? Maybe you cap a behemoth layer if you really need to, but for the most part, right, you're trying to get over to the next region. Then, once you get everyone over to Nivola, you let the next alliance cap the pass. So in Zolan's case with BDL, ISL, and the others, they would have to do the same thing. They'd have to attack the pass, come over here, then come over here, right? Like you basically would have to you'd have to confirm you got everyone over to the next region before you let another alliance take the pass, so that way they could start getting their players over to reinforce and be able to support. Same thing in Kaltia, right? They'd have to do the same thing if they wanted to move past Sophrostia or even into Sophrostia, depending on how many alliances are going to support, and then to get into Nivola. And the same thing for TA and I think TM and the other alliances as well. If they want to get into Nivola, because there's only 2 level 1 passes here, you'd have to do the same thing. So in me saying this, I just don't know, right? I mean, what I will say is that without a level of explanation, them just removing the union feature altogether, I don't know. It seems it's rough because if you look at SS1-2 for the current and only merged kingdom, that is a big blow to both sides, but probably one side more than the other because there's more alliances on one union than there is on the other side. So, and again, there's no explanation, there's no reasoning, no justification for why they're removing the union feature. It just doesn't make sense to me. I actually liked the union feature. I didn't think there was anything inherently wrong with the union feature. Again, I didn't think there was anything wrong with it in Infinity Kingdom when they had it. You know, Rock had its own thing, and I'm just thinking over here, well, COD just wants to do it differently. They want to try something new. Cool. So, again, I will say this, because they didn't explain why they're removing it, and because I don't see any necessarily inherent bad reason on it, and the system is being used as intended for how it was designed when they introduced it into the game, this to me, I just don't see as a net positive. I don't see this as a good move in the direction for the community and for the player base. Now, of course, if they give us an explanation and let us know why, then that would at least give us some more clarity. Doesn't mean that it would justify it or make it seem like, okay, it's okay or not, but I would at least like to start there. For now, I don't like this. I just don't think it's the right move in my opinion, for the reasons I explained. 3-2, added levels for blessings chests as part of alliance gifts. The higher the level of blessing chest when opened, the better the rewards. Also adjusted the number of key points granted for destroying dark link forts or of different levels. Again, give us a breakdown of that. That'd be nice. Again, there's just not enough explanation on that point. Then we get to 4. More enjoyable events. The all-new Trial of Light event is about to begin. Brave warriors must undergo trials to banish the darkness in the name of the light. Defeat as many Darkling Legions as you can within the time limit. Oh, that's actually pretty cool. I like this one. Improve the Crucible of Courage event. You must spend command points to participate in the event. However, you will gain more XP and greater rewards. Okay, awesome. I love it. Now let's get to number 5. Oh, wow, dude, look. They actually added a 6th point here. Or maybe they always had 6. Well, it feels like it was only 5. A more accessible map. So the mist surrounding Serenity Bay in Kaltia has lifted, revealing the glorious city of Dawngrad. The human capital is now yours to explore. Interesting. Does this mean that it's a new region? Right? The mist surrounding Serenity Bay. Can I see that on the map? I'm so curious right now. Let's just see if we can see that. The mist surrounding Serenity Bay. Maybe it's going to be a new addition? A new region? Now, I want to point something out. I hope that this isn't one of those things where it's, oh, hey, here's the new map now. All we did was just add a new region. Now, I don't think that's the case. I assume they're actually coming out with an entirely new map. I just hope that it's not going to be one of those things where we feel shortchanged, right? However, if they are adding a new region, and that's what this means, then interesting. We'll have to see how that looks. But that's cool. I mean, again, more map, more content, right? You can't go wrong there. When the Augerstone chapter Lightbearer ends, the mist will no longer be dispelled across all of Tamaris. Instead, it will only be dispelled in the Atherin region and on the ocean. This is unfortunate to me. I'm actually not in favor of this one. Why? Because if that's the case, then the mist will never be dispelled. And it also means that I won't, for someone like myself, who enjoys going into kingdoms, covering content, it makes it that much more difficult to enjoy, like, spread content across the entire game, right? It's almost as though you're kind of limiting the access there. And from a content creator standpoint, and or really from, I guess, anyone else's, but just kind of more so from that, if I want to be able to show off the game, it makes it more challenging because now I can only look at one region, which is Zone 3. There's no guarantee that the fighting will only ever be limited to Zone 3. And on top of that, it also means that now it's almost as though it's promoting more like content creators within their kingdoms to do it, right? Because obviously they're more likely to want to dispel everything, right, mist-wise. So yeah, I don't know why this change is happening. First and foremost, I didn't see anything wrong with the way they currently have it set up. If anything, I was wanting more. I was wanting them to, be able to dispel everything in the region sooner, just so I could cover any potential like Zone 1 or Zone 2 fights in kingdoms. Like that would be cool. Right? I mean, don't get me wrong, beggars can't be choosers. I'm fine with the Zone 3 for now, but like that's what I would actually love the opportunity to be able to do. So the fact that they're going the opposite direction with this, I don't get it, right? I would love an explanation, but I'm also not in favor of this. Let's look at 5-3. Adjusted exploration progress. When moving to the same realm, your exploration progress will be retained. When moving to the same realm. Adjusted exploration progress. When moving to the same realm, your exploration progress will be retained. Does that mean when you go into a merged kingdom, or does that mean when you're moving different regions? I'd love a little more explanation. I'm sure someone else will tell me and be like, boss, this is what this means, and I'm just overthinking it. Okay, here we go. A more beautiful Tamaris. Improved building visuals to better match their respective factions. Oh, that's cool. I like that. That's straightforward enough. Improved visuals for City Shield. Each faction has its own unique City Shield. That's cool. That's actually pretty cool. I like that. The armies of Wilderburg have undergone significant restructuring. Orcish spearmen have been replaced by Tavrosi spearmen from the Ironhide clan. Their attributes will remain the same. Okay, cool. Wow, there's actually a lot of stuff in this one. Incredible story content. Updated animation for Season Adventures 1 and 2, and voice acting for Season Adventures 3 and 4. Added 11 conversations, which will be unlocked as the Augurstorm progresses. Oh, it's cool. Added voice acting for Thea, Garwood, Nika, Veln, Kanara, Alistair, and Pan. Oh, awesome. Added exploration, 7-4. Added exploration rewards for Tales. Unlocking creatures, anecdotes, and letters will all be rewarded with gems. Oh, nice. I like it. And I feel like that's a nice way to get people, interested in like going into the story content for, outside of those who just already enjoy it, organically, is, add some rewards in there. 7-5, improved the Explore tab on the narrative map. You can now more easily view missed progress and exploration progress across the regions of Tamaris. Okay, that's nice. All right, here we go. Number 8, I think that's probably it. Yep, so we're almost done here. 8 is other improvements. 8-1, added new languages, Russian, Thai, Vietnamese, Arabic, and simplified and traditional Chinese. Ooh, nice. So, I mean, that's pretty big, man. 8-2, improved battle reports and information regarding Darkling forts and alliance tech in the mail screen. Mail with similar content will be grouped together for clarity. For example, battle reports for a legion that fights multiple battles during a single deployment will be combined together. That makes sense. Showing information such as merits gained and wounded dead units. 8-3. Adjusted dark chests. Dark chests now have 3 levels: common, elite, and superior. Artifact luck points have also been introduced. Oh boy, here we go. Artifact luck points increase your chances of receiving legendary artifacts from chests. When you reach 100 artifact luck points, you are guaranteed to receive a legendary artifact. Once you receive a legendary artifact, your luck points will be reset. Oh, this is interesting. This really should have been its own point. It should not have been included in dark chests. Well, I'm assuming that maybe the chest is actually called the dark chest that you unlock there, and I just never cared to read the name, so maybe that could be the case. I just don't know. Like, is this going to be better than the current system? Because if you look at the current system, let's go back to the city, and we go over here to Arena. Right? This is where I'm going to get my artifacts from. I already have probabilities here. Here's my probability table. You are guaranteed an epic or legendary artifact every 10 draws. And a legendary artifact every 90 draws. So, will the epic and legendary artifact probability still be the case as far as this one for epic or legendary? And then they're just adding a specific criteria for once you hit 100 artifact points that you'll be guaranteed a legendary? And also, will that be better than every 90 draws where you are absolutely guaranteed a legendary? As an example, will you get 2 points per draw? If you get 2 points per draw, then that means every 50 keys will guarantee you a legendary outside of the normal epic or legendary artifact that's guaranteed every 10 draws. So that's something we're going to have to pay attention to what exactly is going to be that probability rate going forward, because I mean, you hope it's going to be better, but we don't know. So we'll have to see here. I'm interested on this one. I'm iffy and on the fence until I see how it looks. Added unit tabs, allowing you to see, 8-4, allowing you to see the classification and attributes of units. Ooh, I actually like this. That's nice. A little quality of life there. 8-5, added a button on the hero screen that allows you to replay the animation you see when you first receive a hero. Oh, that's cool, because I think some people want to do that. 8-6, adjusted increases to building area when you expand your city size. Building area for town and citadel sizes has been reduced to a more appropriate size. Okay. Here we go, 8-7, improved group chat management. You can now quit and delete group chat messages with a single tap. Okay, that's nice. I would really love the ability to, add a friends list in game and be able to add people from other kingdoms, be able to start group chats with people that you have as friends, whether from other kingdoms, right? Being able to have a group chat of, players from 4 different kingdoms or however many we want. Like, that would be really cool. So, mark it down. All right, that's it for us right now. So, again, man, there are a couple questionable updates. Most of the time, I'm actually very much in favor. And I think for the most part, all the updates thus far have really, for me, been a net positive. This one, for me, does have some positives. I don't know if I'm going to overly glorify this one and say, hey, everything in here is a net positive, or as far as the overall update. I do think it is a little bit more positive than it is not. However, this is the one update thus far where I have now the most amount of questions that I've had so far because of a few of these changes that are being made that just for me, I don't want to necessarily say they don't make sense. It's just I don't understand them. Logically, rationally, based on the trending direction of the game, precedents that have already been set, that's where it's not computing. There's no comprehension that's being had because the logic and the rationale is either soft or it's just not well put together enough. And then I believe some of these things, right, I don't know, some of these just feel like they don't need to be changed or they don't need to be debuffed or they don't need to be removed or taken away. And that's just how I feel, right? That's my opinion on it. I will say this. I want to hear from you, right? Let me know what you think in the comments down below on some of the things we touched on, because this is going to be a very interesting update. I will say that at the least. And I will end with that we need more clarity. You have to include a reason. You have to include a description, regardless if it's brief. Obviously, it's preferable for it to be expansive or at least detailed enough so we can understand. And then, like I said, implement just a quick drop down, right? Implement something where, if you give a brief or whatever level of explanation, just do something where you have an arrow at the end or an arrow over here, right? You got space right here where I can click this. Something drops down and it gives me an explanation for things that are not just extremely straightforward, right? That would be lovely. Okay, that is going to be it for me. I want to hear what you guys think, so let me know. Until next time, as always, I will catch you later.